We manifest everything for the periodic table, and then the ones who have the most percentage level in that footprints in the sand, they be the ones who find the particles or have the idea to do things with the thing in the earth that they find to come up with a new as above, so below idea, a new creation down here that they got from an idea up there. So we actually created the material. Doing that, teamwork makes the dream work. The better you can get a whole bunch of people to agree with your idea, you create a substance on a periodic table within the world. Eventually, you're going to come up with an idea to travel to a land that has something to do with that crystal or gem on that material to create or have a correspondence to whatever that your intellectual property you develop to be conveyed. This is how we create the world. All of our minds together, teamwork makes the dream work, created the water cycles, the trees, the mustard seeds, and then we created our own fleshes together. And what we did in the mind is what we started doing in the sea and on the land with the body. Fuck and neat. And this became all the allegories based on our desires. Ain't no such thing as, well, I know I'm the first thing out of the sun, but I ain't teaching y'all nothing new. I'm only reminding you what you already know. So I'm just showing you how we created the sun in general. So we was always here. So for the most part, ain't no such thing as people could say now, we don't know how light got here. We don't know how we got here. Nobody will never know. We can only make hypothesis. Okay, you and your ego, you going to hell. Because if you came across my channel, it take ears to see, eyes to hear, and you go into that water to make your own cup to be able to take the train of thought and line of reasoning to know that you actually got to space on your own. You just got a little help. And therefore, that's all I could do for you. If you can't see it from that goddamn perspective, you going to hell. Period. AKA right back here. You can go to heaven. That's still coming right back here. But the living conditions and circumstances you create will support more of that heavenistic state. If you create more slavery, hellistic states and things of that nature, you came back here with what was on your mind last time. Hell, you brought your Jerusalem back down here, but it was hell. But you got to know you ain't the light. So your spirit can have that awareness to separate from that previous mind other than being trapped in it, because all your knowledge that you're learning from this world have something to do with you thinking you are the mind. This is one of the ways the shadow government trapped y'all on the deepest occult level. So you don't even know how to think about the world no other way. And based upon me coming at my age, how I look at things of that nature, it's too much things for you to fight to hear what I'm actually trying to tell you, because a lot of these things may be things you've been defending for so long for you to be seen a certain way. So there's so many other layers even beyond that. You got to get out that Lucifer to understand that everybody's knowledge here is wrong, and whatever you could come up with is wrong. And I'm the only person that can come up with something new. And I'm not telling you it's something new. That's why I'm the first person to tell you. I'm only reminding you what you already know. So you have to get out your ego of just me being the one to tell you that. It's all going to lead to that at some point. It's just all going to lead to that. And I'm not speaking to the soul group. Y'all know this is the things we do. We the powerful spirits, but I'm just saying how angels come down and show the world how you're supposed to think. Y'all don't have your own mind and things of that nature, so you have to utilize the shadow government mind in order for you to get in line of whatever you think you came from, and you really always been here. You know what I'm saying? But you rather say that pseudo or something like that. Wow, what's coming out your mouth be the same thing, and the shadow government saying the same thing. Quote unquote, the universe always been here and things of that nature. So you know, if they're gonna say the universe always been here, then where was you then? So if you get lost into some science saying, oh, I started when I created a brain, and then when I don't got a brain, I ain't going to be here no more, like some Neil deGrasse ass stupid shit, that's for you to get lost in not being able to argue for or against something because you don't remember being born or dying, because you don't have the right intuition and things of that nature to see things from the other levels of chakras and shit like that. So for the most part, that's how you motherfucker get lost. But last time I checked, can't no hospital go into any person's parent's body and calculate how many kids they can have based on a brain already being in there. And once they fuck, that brain just start to spark off, and then that child could be developed. No. Before I had my daughter, could no scientist go inside me and be like, yeah, there go little Marissa's brain. There go your daughter's brain in there, right there. And all you got to do is ejaculate, and then that'll go into the mother. And that's impossible. So first and foremost, that's let you know you had a body before the human body. Now, if you don't want to believe that, that's your fucking stupid ass. But everything in life is showing you that. So you can get lost in that's all you want, and Neil deGrasse all you want. But it ain't like your mother was even going inside herself telling you how to make your brain and how to make your bones. So you got levels of awarenesses that you're just not willing to go down that line of reasoning and train of thought like I have in order to develop the conclusions that I developed. You see what I'm saying? But other than that, that goes even further. And you even picked the people you're around and stuff. It go deep on the spiritual shit. I could go deep, but at this go up all around. But at the same time, that's what it's about. Because you can't do that. So if that's the case, then that means one of my first bodies was a mental body. But it wasn't like my father created it. So that's like some multiverse type shit or some infinite regress type shit. We have to find the first humans. That's impossible. We all came up out of the water as a kind. You see what I'm saying? Not a race, a kind. Y'all don't even know how to read the Bible. And I'm not saying I got that from the Bible, but once I read the Bible, it's basically I can see who copied me to know that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like a retarded. I'm saying real shit. Know what I'm saying? So y'all get lost in all that goddamn shit. You think you gotta be a goddamn first goddamn person or some shit. But other than that, somebody said about desires. You shout to Madam Assistant. Yes, desires. It takes a desire. That's the will to live. That's the fire. You gotta have a desire. If you ain't got no desire, you're just gonna be space within space. You know what I'm saying? Being unconscious. You no thing. So once you become something, there's no such thing as being no thing. You know what I'm saying? That's almost like saying you could be conscious of being unconscious. That's impossible. There's no such thing as being conscious of being unconscious. If somebody was to knock you out, right, they disorganize one of your organs, and whatever chakra what bent in on itself as a light form to create that organ as a spirit, you got knocked out of that too. So you got knocked out of your mind too. So your mind and the organ that it bent in on itself to make have to rest. So you don't know nothing. You in a coma, you knocked out, right? But the only reason we could say you exist because you got a body that ain't been destroyed yet. So it's stuff that's still blood still pumping and organs still floating around. Your constellations, mentalities that's scattered. You got to wait till they can collect again so they don't look like little birdies and stars. You got to wait till they get aligned again the way you aligned it, the way they supposed to align for you, how you got your body of water flowing to go and make your organs and your blood flow that way. So when they get back aligned again, the organs that they created that's damaged at the moment can start to heal because the mental forms is going in the flow the way the organs and the blood flow, it created it. But as a spirit, now you could use them again and wake back up. Ain't like you gonna remember. Now, as a spirit, before you even created a mind in the first place, use the space within space. It ain't like you was aware. Oh, I'm in somewhere that's nowhere, and then you created a form to be stuck in now, and now you are aware that's all this lostness. It's unconscious. Then you become aware. Subconscious, your mental forms, and then they bend in on itself and create the physical forms. Conscious. So it's unconscious, becoming aware, subconscious, and then motherfucker conscious. What these things become to be when you experience the expiration date. Time ain't something on its own. Time is just a calculation of each form that's created and tracking it before it expires. So tracking the rotation of it. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, when I say a rock is conscious, this would make an atheist get lost because they only know how to be Google scholars. So they'd be like, so what, you're saying a rock has a conscious and it's intelligent and it can think like us? No, dumbass. Conscious is energy. We create energy with the spirit create energy. That's a mind, an awareness in the mind. We create that as individual souls all together, right? And then once the mind go through so many accumulations, it built off, it becomes something off the periodic table, water cycles, the two transitions of it, fire, water, air, earth, and then in the transitions and Malkuth down. Now, for the most part, when we see it dry up on its ending stages, we're looking at the physical representation of consciousness. So a rock, trees, these things are physical representations of our consciousness that we have created from our subconscious. Not to say that I'm saying the actual tree can talk because it has a conscious. You got a Western Hemisphere lostness. So even when you read the Bible, when you hear things like God talking to man, in your mind, you think it's like if you was talking to somebody. That's how you picture it in your head. They got y'all floating around in some city in the fourth or sixth dimension all the way down to the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, and y'all don't see straight. Don't see shit straight. Real shit. You got to learn how to see things clearly in this motherfucker shit. Therefore, you don't, it can't nobody tell you and flash some college career curriculum at you, and then that make you be docile because you don't want to be looked at the world as stupid. But first, you got to have right speculative. You got to not be stupid first. You got to be God's children. You just can't jump into energy and just make up anything. No, you got to go through some transitions first so you can be that, because you had the right words and right mentalities, aka right spaceships, to hit the subjects in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension at an angle from your alienistic energies, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, right? In a way to make that be. Or you'll just be seen like you're coming in a representation of an energy just for the sake of that energy without understanding the image in front of that energy is faulty. And you're just acting out of energy without a good representation for that energy, whether it's an intellectual property, whether it's something you got off Google, whether it's something that you think, however the case may be. The energy gotta match the shape and form. You know what I'm saying? The liking gotta match the image. You know what I'm saying? And then therefore that makes it a complete cipher as the spirit circling through those both polar shifts to understand its expansion and its contraction. That's why every organ has a pulse, because the spirit does expansion and contraction. And expansion is the concept even within the Bible of spiritual birth and physical death, because you expand out of a form of information. You went in a mental form, figured out the constellations, all the mental angles and demons, de-evolved lights within it. Then once that light expired, you expand out of it. And as a spirit, now you have more ability to know that you can expand more. So everything is expansion and contraction, distance, closeness, brightness, dimness, not up, down, left, right. It's the parameter first. Then up, down, left, right has to be within an environment. That's when we start to create the physical operative allegories of that to create streets up, down, left, right. But it starts with the operative in the mind, also with the fire element, externalizing things within inside of us, up, down, left, right. So that'll be up, feeling upbeat, forward, feeling accomplished, back, feeling regret, down, feeling depressed, left, feeling singled out or feeling individualized, or right, feeling righteous or sacrificing your individualization for other people's individualizations, and centering yourself. And this is where each position of these as a spirit inside of you is where you're creating your sapphirots, where you're creating your chakras. You know what I'm saying? And that's, as a spirit, you jump through each of these mentalities, each of these spaceships to see the existence through those lenses, through those filtering systems. This is why I tell y'all not the mind. You see, people who keep saying they spirit, or we the mind, or we the light, or we the light, they're lost in the light. So they can't see anything. Quote unquote, as a spirit, they don't know how to think deeply enough or feel deeply enough, because they think they are these thoughts and feelings. They think they are these light forms. So their willingness to come up with being extreme exaggerationists. That's what basically everybody y'all see on the internet, as far as Neil deGrasse, all the content creators, as far as conscious community, truth seekers, New Agers. They take things that's very simple and become practitioners of being masters of exaggeration. And then for the most part, even atheists, when we get multiverse and things of that nature, quantum fields, you know what I'm saying? So, everybody have the ability to exaggerate and make the mind do things it ain't supposed to and make sense out of that lostness. But at the same time, none of that have anything to do with existence. Same way y'all all still think the sun was moving to the right and it's a flaming helium ball, and we on a big body of water rotating to the left. So for the most part, if that's a big body of sun floating by itself, it should have been took another transit, or it should have been ran into something, or it should have been destroyed or blew up thousands of years ago. That lets you know off the bat that whole starting point is wrong. That whole starting point is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation. Damn, it always disappear on here. Oh, Mike's Monopoly, you said, I know this sound like a dumb question. No, ain't no question dumb. You said, but if darkness is an accumulation of light, what is the absence of light? Whiteness. Yeah, basically that's the absence of light. Vague. Shit, ocean, sea, sky, clear, clairvoyance, clarity. Clear. There's no substance there. So from a speculative perspective, if you understand it from a spirit, being a spirit and not the mind, you create these spectrums and colors and things of that nature. And you start at a very light spectrum, white. And then once you start to accumulate and go through the different shades, all the way down to the accumulation, darkness. And within darkness, it could be so dense, you can make a body there. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the Malkuth part of the aspect. If you are dark enough wizard to understand that's what they be talking about as shadow priests and darkness and things of that nature, and comparing it and contrasting it to what's being negative and positive of that aspect. But at the same time, that's let you know from that. But once you leave from the lack of darkness, you separate each color out of that rainbow. Then it becomes the rainbow. Then it becomes to the most lightest density version of that, aka the less weight of that mentality. So that'd be the correlations of shades like light blue, all the way going into white. And then once you separate from white, you go to clear. Now you have clairvoyance on what's going on. This is another color spectrum aspect of what we're developing as spirits, being the observer. And getting lost in our desires. So our first forms of mental desires are these shades of colors. That's why we have an allegory to them that yellow means happy, purple means pleasure, or prosperity, or ruler, or ruling kind of energy and things of that nature. It was really just diving deep into pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Orange, horizon, or possibility, or potential. You know what I'm saying? Red, passion, war, intent, goal, anger, aggression. You know what I'm saying? Pink, loving, blissful, and shit, like, you know, just different terms. Green, growth. I'm saying we can see that what we manifested from us spiritually growing. We manifested the actual texture of where we're growing within. This is why we can see green within, but we can't see green out. So that's why the grass is green and things of that nature. So a context of growth. But all of it come from a shade spectrum and things of that nature. After it's like a going in and out type thing. Inside and out type thing, where we coming from the lightest perspective, go to the heaviest, all the darkness, just to try to find the grow something out of it, and we growing pieces of each of the color that accumulated as darkness out of it, and it's becoming the different seeds, the different trees, the different fruits, the different branches. You know what I'm saying? The different shades, the different water cycles, and you having an individual bubble coming a sea creature and a land creature, which is just a higher vibrational aspect of how water playing out within a transition. So we still in a tank of water, the atmosphere. Based upon your spiritual ability to expand and contract, you have the intelligence as a spirit to take a bigger awareness, a mind to make a bigger body, to observe a less dense version of that water transition, which is still all the same thing. So water is consciousness, and based upon an organ and the atmosphere you create your consciousness in, that'll be your level of being able to observe the external existence that we are in, being that spirit inside that form, that teamwork makes a dream work we created to observe each other in. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, we always need a spirit. We always need something to represent ourselves. So a spirit need a mind to represent itself as a spaceship, a solar system, and that creates a physical form. So we go all do that in physicality, in real time, because so it don't transition and we don't experience birth, life, death like too fast. Because with the body, with just the mind, switching a dream is like dying and being born. You know what I'm saying? So you like to be stuck in one imagination, one mental form, and like to be seen as that as an individual, and then make that in the flesh and experience that for a large period of time. Because if you just stay scattered and shit, that's like la la land as a spirit, not actually making a mind out of your awareness. So spirits could be aware of you, you could be aware of them, but you just all over the place and all kind of imaginations and clouds and in other people's heads that actually made a brain and shit like that. So it's important to make a mind once you became aware, because that awareness goes off to what we are doing to create everything. And then that awareness